Hi, my name is Madeline, and I'm with Global Impact Ministry Centers. The other day I was working on a maze. It's one of those brain mazes that you work through to stretch your brain. You start off at the beginning and you work your way through the maze to get to the end. The thing is about those mazes is like life. You start and there's a lot of options that are available. There's things that will sidetrack you, maybe dead ends. You'll go but so far and then you have to go back and start at the beginning to try to make your way to the finish. But there is a way, I've found, if you're really trying to do the puzzle in a hurry and you're getting a little frustrated with those dead ends, you start at the finish line and there's less options, less dead ends. You just start at the finish line, you work your way up to the start, and it's just a little quicker and a little less sidetracked. Much like our life as Christians. Sometimes, just in our life, there's that many opportunities that are available to each of us. Opportunities and choices that we make daily, yearly, different things that can take you off the plan that God has for your life. You might come to years later down a certain path that you've taken to find out it's a dead end and it's not where you want to be, and so you start back at the beginning, maybe having spent and invested a lot of time and emotions into things that were not profitable for you. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 23, that we are allowed to do anything. So they say, and that is true, but not everything is good. We are allowed to do anything, but not everything is helpful. The Everyday Bible version says, all things are legitimate, permissible, and we are free to do anything we please, but not all things are helpful, expedient, profitable, and wholesome. All things are legitimate, but not all things are constructive to character and edifying to spiritual life. So how do we make our way through that maze? How do we end up realizing which ones are going to be unprofitable so that we don't end up going down a path that we don't want to go down? The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24 to 27, that surely you know that many runners take part in a race, but only one of them wins the prize. Run then in such a way as to win the prize. Every athlete in training submits to strict discipline in order to be crowned with a wreath that will not last, but we do it for one that will last forever. That is why I run straight for the finish line. That is why I'm like a boxer who does not waste his punches. I harden my body with blows and bring it under complete control to keep myself from being disqualified after having called others to the contest. What we want to hear at the end of our lives is to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. But to have that happen, we have to live a life that is submitted to God and His plans for our life. How do we find out those plans? How do we know that God has a plan for our life? We read in Jeremiah 29, verse 11 to 14, that God's saying, I alone know the plans that I have for you, plans to bring you prosperity and not disaster, plans to bring about the future you hope for. Then you will call to me, you will come to me and pray, you will come and pray to me, and I will answer you. You will seek me and you will find me, because you will seek me with all your heart. Therein lies the key to making our way through that maze. It's understanding what the goal is. Our goal as Christians is to live a life that is in line with God's plan for our life. And it doesn't have to be a mystery. When we are faced with opportunities and things that come our way, not everything is something that we necessarily need to participate in or avail ourselves of. There may be things that come about that are not necessarily bad, but maybe they're not going to be beneficial for us. It's seeking after God, seeking after His heart through Word, through reading His Word, through seeking Him in prayer and listening for what He's saying to us, to know if this is part of the plan that God has for our lives or whether we should be passing on that opportunity. Life doesn't have to be complex. The more we look and seek after God and His will for our lives, the more that we can navigate through the maze of our life to find ourselves in the place we want to be, being able to hear those words, well done, my good and faithful servant, at the end of our lives. Thank you, and I hope that this has given you something to consider as you make your way through the maze. Thank you.